Okay, Gamal, Mariam, Luigi, Omar, welcome back. Mirna. Okay. Gamal, why haven't you joined PISinter yet? Gamal. Now, why haven't you joined PISinter yet? Matar.
أجينا دلوقتي.
If you can, please do. دحروب بسنت دحروب بسنت ندى.
انزله مصر ولا افتحه من على الويب سايت؟
في لينك يا جمال على الفيسبوك، حاول تلاقيه، حطه من يومين 3 او اسال زمايلك عنه، ادخل عليه وشوف هم عملوا ايه. ممكن تعمله بعد الساعه عشان دحروب احمد.
Yes.
Why haven't you joined PISinter like your friends here? Can you see them? Please join as soon as possible, Ahmed. And we have 17 people. I wrote your mentioned you on Facebook and you liked my mention, and so far you haven't joined. Please join as soon as possible.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. So there are 12 students so far. Okay, Mirna, sorry. Okay, guys, Karim, if you can hear me, I'll share the screen with you. Karim,
موجود.
Karim. Okay.
ايوه موجود.
The first one to submit was Ahmed Dahrouk after 9 minutes and 10 seconds. Then Ahmed Abul Farh. Okay. For 13 minutes. Then Abdurrahman Rashwan, Basant Yaouta, Hamid Shahd, Jana Sobh, Maya, Ahmed Matar, Hania, Samar, Minna, Yusuf Mishali, Nada Dawood, Omar Zini, Daniel, Shahd Abdel Qadir, Salma, Mirna, Luigi, Farah, Peter, and Ilki. So Karim, you weren't. I don't think you did the exam because you didn't even call me or write to me as usual. Sorry, I didn't submit. يعني
لا اصلا انا عملت سبميت وجالي ان هو تعمل سبميت اللي هي الشاشه بتيجي في الاخر.
يعني التكنولوجيا كده يا كريم جالك وما ظهرش على الجهاز وما قال يعني قال لك انك خلاص سبميتد.
ده اللي هو بيقول لي ثانك يو فور سبميتنج يور ريسبونس.
طب ممكن توريني الرساله دي؟ يعني ممكن
ما انا ما عملتلهاش سكرين شوت. ما هو كل امتحان ما بعملش سكرين شوت انا الثانك يو فور مش عارف ايه الريسبونس دي.
كريم مش عارف اقول لك ايه بصراحه. انا راجل
طب ايه
تكنولوجي بس يعني الموضوع اتكرر. انا مش قوي في التكنولوجي بس كده الموضوع اتكرر اكتر من مره وانت حتى يعني ما قلتليش.
لا انا المره دي مش مفوت الوقت. انا المره دي عامل سبميت من بدري وخلاص يعني كأن الامتحان العادي يعني.
Okay, as I told you, I don't know what happened.
طب اعمل ايه انا دلوقتي؟
مش عارف والله. انا هسال بقى الاداره برضه ثاني مره او ثالث مره معاك يا كريم.
مستر.
معاك ليه؟ ايوه دانيال.
I will leave the meeting and join again from my laptop, okay?
Guys who have just joined, Danielle, Hania, and who? Danielle, Hania, and someone else? Who has just joined, guys? شباب مين اللي لسه داخل؟ دانيال وهانيا، واحد ثالث مين؟ مش عارفين اللي دخل، مش عارف هو مين ولا ايه؟ شباب خلاص ده
مش عارف بس انا دخلت من شويه يعني.
مين؟
بيتر. بس مش اللي هو يعني من شويه قوي.
Peter, yes, it's you, Peter. Okay. Because I haven't written your name. Okay. Let's go to the chapter 6. Okay. Any question, guys? Any question before I start? Right. Chapter 6, Triumph. I'll just mute you, sorry. Okay. Chapter 6, triumph. You know, triumph means victory. Triumph of whom we're not sure yet. At the trial the next day, you know, again, let's remember that Charles Darnay stayed for a year and 3 months in prison. Every day, his wife Lucy used to go and stand in front of the window of his cell in order to let him see her for 2 hours carrying her daughter. This position was next to a woodcutter's shop. Remember, this woodcutter is the road mender who told the Marquis about the man who was riding under his carriage. The man was one of the revolutionaries, okay, then, and he used to frighten Lucy. He was acting as if he was sewing off or cutting off her head and her daughter's head. Lucy was courageous enough. She went over to him, spoke to him, and gave him money to hush him, to silence him, okay? And then a group of people came dancing. She wasn't frightened. She was still standing there to let her husband see her. Dr. Manette was with this mob, or was with this group. He asked her to blow a kiss to her husband because he was looking at her at that moment. So the next day was the trial. Darnay offers an articulate and well-planned defense of himself. He defends himself in a good way. However, the jury remains unconvinced of his innocence until Dr. Manette and Mr. Lorry testify on his behalf. Again, remember that Dr. Manette is a Bastille survivor, and he was considered as a hero or a martyr in the eyes of the revolutionaries. He now inspects 3 prisons. He is the doctor, the physician of 3 prisons. Okay, Lorry testify. The court spectators who called for Darnay's head. Remember, these spectators, this mob, will call for his freedom a couple of minutes later. The court spectators who called for Darnay's head at the beginning of the trial cheer wildly when the jury votes to free him. They cheer wildly. When the jury votes to free him. When the jury wants to free him, they cheer. When they said that something is against him, they cheer. Okay. Dickens once say that those people were just rioters, just mob, just uneducated people, and so on. As the crowd swarms around Darnay and carries him home, he is freed now. The rapid change in his situation bewilders him. When he reaches home, he embraces or hugs Lucy and his daughter, and he and Lucy pray together in thanks. After they arrive home, he hugs his daughter and his wife, and they pray or offer prayer to God. Afterward, Lucy embraces her father, who is proud of what he has accomplished. Dr. Manette was proud of what he has accomplished. He thought that they freed Darnay because he said, I am the son-in-law of Dr. Manette. Okay, and you know who Dr. Manette is. This was part of his defense. He said, I am the son-in-law of Dr. Manette, Alexander Manette. The analysis, the image of Lucy's head on her father's breast brings the reader full circle in the story of the father and daughter. Just as she dug him out of his mental prison, he has unearthed her husband from his prison. Remember when she went to find him in Paris, in Saint Antoine district, at the beginning of the story. When he hugged her and touched her hair, she reminded him of the hair of his wife. Remember that in his cell, he was keeping some of the hairs of his wife, okay, Lucy's mother. And in this situation, when the father hugs his daughter, he maybe, let's say, calls her husband or rescues, as she rescued him before, he rescues her husband now and he rescues her family now. Okay, so Darnay has been resurrected. You know, resurrection, when somebody stands from death, when somebody is dead and he or she comes back to life, this is called resurrection. Darnay has been resurrected, just as the doctor was resurrected before. However, the family's happiness must be fleeting. Fleeting means short and fast. Regardless of the innocent verdict, remember that he was declared or acquitted a couple of hours ago. Madame Defarge has indelibly recorded Darnay's name in her register. She used to knit the names, as you remember, and she wrote his name with the names she used to knit. Dickens showed the reader Madame Defarge sitting in the front row with a spare piece of knitting under her arm as she worked. That spare piece of knitting is undoubtedly the portion of the register that contains Darnay's name. So the woman was at the front row of some of the people, and under her arm was a piece of cloth with some names knitted on it. Of course, this was the piece of cloth which had Darnay's name. Although the jury has declared him innocent, one day's verdict does not mean he is safe. So the man is going to be arrested again. Dickens repeatedly has emphasized the changeable nature of the populace. Even at Darnay's trial, human nature changes from time to time, just as the tide of opinion shifted from bloodlust to intense support. A word from Madame Defarge can swing the tide back again. Remember, the people who cheered for the freedom of Darnay, they will come back again and call for his head. Chapter 7, a knock at the door. Which door? Remember, Darnay has been freed or was freed a couple of hours ago, and maybe somebody will come and knock on his door. Although the doctor voices confidence in the validity of Darnay's release, Lucy remains fearful for her husband's safety, and she has right. As the family enjoys a quiet evening together, Miss Pross leaves on a shopping expedition with Jerry Cruncher, the man Mr. Lorry left to guard them in the small house he found for them in chapter 3 or 4. Soon afterward, 4 rough men pound on the door. They knocked hard on the door and entered the apartment. They informed Darnay that he is a prisoner again. So the man hasn't enjoyed his freedom. He enjoyed it for just a couple of hours. Then he was arrested again. 4 strong men, 4 rough men pound at the door and then took him back to prison. Based on why is he a prisoner again? Based on accusations from 3 people. Who are these or those 3 people? Monsieur and Madame Defarge and someone else whom they refuse to name. Darnay's new trial will take place the next day. It's a fast trial this time. The first time he stayed or spent a year and a quarter in prison, La Force, but this time he will be tried the next day. So guys, I have a question here. Can you guess who the 3rd person is? Remember, this time again, I'll read this part again. They inform the 4 rough men who came to arrest Darnay again, inform Darnay that he is a prisoner again, based on accusations from 3 people. 2 people are named Monsieur and Madame Defarge, and someone else whom they refuse to name. Darnay's new trial will take place the next day. The question is, who do you think is the 3rd person? Nada only? Who else knows the answer? So Darnay is arrested again based on the accusation of 3 people, Madame and Monsieur Defarge, and the third person is unknown. Can you guess his name? So I'll go to Nada.
I know who it is, but when I think of it, it makes sense that it should be Carton.
So you know the story.
Yes, but I guess if I didn't know, I would guess it's Carton.
Okay, Nada, wait. Let other people who don't know the story. I'll see. Myrna, do you know the story?
No, I'll guess it's
Okay.
the road mender, maybe.
The road mender, or who is the woodcutter now? Thank you. I'll
Yes.
go to Minna. Thank you, Mirna. Thank you, Nada. Wait. Minna, do you know the story, or you'll just guess?
Yes, Jean Barsad.
John Parsad, maybe. Tab Nada, I'll go back to Nada. Is it John Parsad, Nada, or the road mender, or someone else?
Someone else.
Who is he?
I say who it is?
Yes. Go ahead.
Dr. Manette.
Yes. Dr. Manette. How come? We will know later. Yes, it's Dr. Manette, because we'll find out later that he wrote a paper in his cell in Bastille and wrote in it that every month, Darnay's family name and their kids and their grandchildren should be sentenced to death. This is his accusation, and Darnay belongs to the Everymont after all. This is the accusation of 3 people, Madame and Monsieur Defarge and Dr. Manette himself. Of course, he didn't know then that his daughter would get married to one of the Everymont's descendants. He didn't know this at that time, and he didn't know that the revolutionaries would find this piece of paper which he buried in his cell in the Bastille. Okay, thank you, Mirna. Thank you, Nada. Thank you, Minna. Okay, so the analysis of chapter 7. Darnay's rearrest realizes Lucy's fears. So Lucy was right to fear when she saw the mob, when she saw the crowds in the street. She didn't feel assured, although the rough men name both Defarge as accusers. The reader knows that Madame Defarge must be the person primarily responsible. One may wonder why Madame Defarge allowed Darnay to be freed, only to have him arrested again that same day. Why didn't she? Of course, she attended the trial, the first trial. Why didn't she say no and showed them her piece of cloth on which she knitted the names of the people to be killed or to be imprisoned? Dickens foreshadowed this move as the killing of Follen. Remember the man who was killed during the revolution? When Madame Defarge stayed close to Follen in the mob and let him go before snatching him back again. Maybe Dickens wants to say that this bloody woman likes to, let's say, enjoy seeing her prey or her victim having the feeling of happiness, then sadness again, then happiness, then sadness again. Maybe she enjoys this, like a cat with a mouse, a cat and mouse play, a cat with a mouse. Similarly, she allowed Darnay to experience a moment of freedom before sending him back to almost certain death. This behavior is the hallmark of cruelty. Remember, the woman is a bloody woman, for it tortures the victim. In prison, sometimes they give prisoners salty food. And then an hour or 2 later, they feel very thirsty. Okay, and they need water urgently. And they come and give them just drops of water. This is a type of torture in some prisons. Okay, she gave him this drop of freedom before he is arrested back. She enjoyed seeing this. Okay, for it tortures the victim with a glimpse of what he wants the most, a glimpse of freedom. What he wants the most here is freedom. She gave him just a drop of freedom making him realize how much he is losing. Madame Defarge's action reveals the depths of her ruthlessness. The woman was ruthless. The woman was bloody. The woman sought vengeance all the time and revenge all the time. The word dumb in this chapter means lacking the power of speech or speechless. We are dumb here means mute or silent or speechless. Guys, we've finished up to chapter 7. Again, you need to read the chapters from the book from now. Don't leave yourself until before the exam and cram and be in a hurry. You don't know what to study. It's too much. No, it's not too much. And as for the number of chapters, I said, don't worry. When the school tells me to stop, we'll take the part we have finished, inshallah. Any question before I end the session? Type okay. 2 guys are raising their hands. Nada?
Sorry, by mistake.
No problem. Basant wants to say something.
The problem, I don't think it is with the amount of chapters itself, but you told us earlier that we take both the chapters and Macbeth together. Yeah. And Macbeth is a really hard story.
You said that your exam is in early, maybe in mid-May. I'm not sure. Don't worry. Again, we'll get tested in the part we have covered until this time, or will have covered until this time. Don't worry. I don't want to give you much stuff. It's the last term with you, and I wish you good luck. And 2 months from now, you'll be graduates and we'll be friends. I don't want to impose anything on you. So sorry because I said that. Again, we'll see where we stop when the school tells me to stop here. But that's it. Don't worry. Forget about what I have said before. Uta has a question, I think.
I'm already ready, Mister.
Mr.
Yes.
There is a timetable that Mr. Osama uploaded of everything, literally, including our exams. You can go and check when our exam is.
Okay, Uta, thank you very much. Thank you for the advice. Okay, guys, I'll end the session. Again, those who haven't, Karim, please, if you can join Pixton now, do it. Gamal, Dahrog, and the other people. I think Abul Farh hasn't joined. El Kiki hasn't joined. There are 10 of you who haven't joined yet. Maybe tomorrow I'll post the project topic. Please join as soon as possible because you'll need it to do your project. Thank you very much. And happy Easter. Peter and Danielle, can you hear me? Peter and Danielle left. Okay. I just want to say happy Easter, Peter and Danielle. Okay. Thank you very much. Salam.